So I woke up this morning and I went to work, as I do most days. And I kind of was like, fuck me, I have to break down a full UFC Fight Night card today. But then I remembered that this card is absolutely fucking stacked. And now I'm hyped to break this one down. Whittaker versus the Ritter. Very excited about this one. Now, I must say, I'm not exactly mad on the Ritter. I'm not really... Actually, let me just scroll down here real quick so we can get straight into this fight. Whittaker versus the Ritter. A nice little co-main event there as well. I'm going to enlarge myself here. There we go. Now, Robert Whittaker versus Reinier the Ritter. I kind of don't really rate Reinier the Ritter an awful lot. He can 100% win this fight. Like, this is kind of a fight where I wouldn't be holy grail set on Robert Whittaker winning, okay? I kind of feel like Whittaker's going to... I feel like I've seen this one before with, like, the Dricus one. I was like, oh, Whittaker will get that one done. You know, relax, for 100%. I feel like Reinier the Ritter is just a bit more like a fucking poor man's Dricus du Plessis or like a Tesco Dricus du Plessis. Good grappling, but no striking, okay? I'm kind of worried that Reinier the Ritter is going to be able to find success with getting Whittaker down. And when he gets Whittaker down, I'm going to be like, fuck. I'm not 100% convinced that Robert Whittaker has the best grappling, like, at all. I don't really rate Robert Whittaker's chin either. You know, he is quite chinny, so that's something I am concerned about as well. This is a close fight, but I just think the skill set Whittaker has always shown in fights. I feel like he's going to be able to get this one done, okay? I'm not 1,000,000% shocked if the Ritter gets this one done. I wouldn't be 1,000,000% surprised if he finished him at some stage in the fight. But I feel like Whittaker's experience is a big thing, and like, beating Kevin Holland is cool, beating Bo Nickel is cool. But you're jumping to one of the greatest middleweights ever. You know, some people think this guy beat Prime Adesanya as well. He beat Yoel Romero twice. You know, Marvin Vettori, Paulo Costa, Jared Cannonier. These were all in the last few years. So he's definitely... Obviously, Whittaker's had that massive jump up. Now, he's fell short as well. He fell short against Adesanya. He fell short against Dricus. He fell short against fucking Hamzat as well. It's not like this was the Dustin Poirier of middleweight where he never touched the undisputed title. But... it is quite a similar career where he did lose to kind of like, you know, he lost to Adesanya, who was the champ. He lost to Dricus, who's the champ. And now he lost to Hamzat, who's fighting the champ. So there is that kind of a bit of an argument of very similar careers, actually. The only thing is Whittaker got undisputed gold. Now, he didn't actually... I don't think Robert Whittaker actually ever defended the belt, which someone said that to me and I checked it and I was like, holy shit, that blew my fucking mind, if I'm being completely honest with you. I thought Whittaker had, you know, some title defenses. He also never beat the undisputed world champion. Now that's nothing to do with him because I think it was GSP at the time that he got the belt for. He was the interim champion, and then they just made him the champion. So he was meant to have a scheduled fight with Rockhold as well. I think he pulled out of that one, or someone pulled out. I think it was Rockhold pulled out. A lot of people forget that would have been an unbelievable fight. Rockhold's fighting Darren Till now, which is a bit shit, but stylistically, Whittaker's going to have to keep this standing, in my opinion. I think Whittaker's going to have to keep at range as well. The Ritter's quite awkward. The blitzing movement Whittaker has, I feel like it's going to be his biggest asset in this fight. When he shows, he kind of moves forward and places his shot there. Whittaker's got good kicks as well. You know, tricky high kick now. The Ritter's going to be big as well. Whittaker does like to engage in the grappling. I wouldn't necessarily be engaging with the grappling in this one personally, just because I don't really think you need to. I think you're quite better than Reinier the Ritter on the feet to the point where you just don't need to go down to the ground. You don't even need to entertain it. You know what I mean? You're going to be able to have success on the feet. Now, if it's not going your way or some shit like that, that's a total different story. But I feel like I'm not that worried about Whittaker in this fight, apart from the fact that he's chinny. Do you know what I mean? But if he keeps that range, I feel like Whittaker will just be able to dance around him. I feel like he's going to have success. I feel like he'll have range over the Ritter. The Ritter's got quite sloppy striking, where I can definitely see Whittaker having success there. Too many openings in the pocket for me to not pick Robert Whittaker in this fight, if I'm being honest. But he is in that stage of his career where he's on the way out. He's saying he wants another title shot. I feel that's going to be extremely hard to get. You know, you might fight like... See, you fought Paulo Costa a year ago, so I don't want to see that. You might fight Brendan Allen. Maybe that's going to be next if you beat Reinier the Ritter. Maybe Brendan Allen is waiting for the Ritter. the winner of this fight, but then again Costa is there as well. You know, we got Jared Cannonier versus MVP as well, which fucking nobody asked for. The most random fight I have ever fucking seen. It makes no sense. Who asked for that? Who the fuck asked for that, bro? But I'm gonna go Robert Whittaker on this one. I'm gonna go Robert Whittaker 49-46 decision on that one. Yeah, I like Whittaker a lot, so I hope he gets that one done. Next up, Peter Yan versus Marcus McGee. Listen, I don't really think I need to say much about this fight. Peter Yan is going to win. Peter Yan is going to fucking butcher Marcus McGee. We have got the bantamweight title fight booked between Corey Sandhagen and Umar Nurmagomedov. Merab Dvalishvili. Very happy about that. Very happy to see Corey finally getting an undisputed world title. Very happy to see Merab, you know, keep it active as the champion should be. Like I said, Merab is doing what Ilya should be doing. He's too busy, you know, saying how he enjoyed the Nelk Boys podcast with the Israeli Prime Minister, which is fucking weird. And he looks fat as well, Ilya. He actually looks a bit fat, but I feel like Merab is showing extremely good consistency with defending, and he's very active, so I fucking rate that heavily, you know what I mean? I say it before, I don't really like Merab, but I rate what Merab does. Heavy. I love consistency. I fucking love it. I love activity. Like, it makes me a fan. Being active makes me a fan. Being inactive, I fucking hate that shit. But Peter Yan is going to beat the shit out of Marcus McGee. And I don't think that's really an outrageous shout to make, to be honest with you. Peter Yan, how can you bet on Marcus McGee in this fight? How can you bet on him? Peter Yan is coming off 2 wins as well. Like, Davison Figueiredo 5-round main event. He was 1 step ahead in that fight. And he just had a close fight with Song Yadong as well. I don't think I need to say any more, bro. How can you pick Marcus McGee in this fight? Yan is like everyone's favorite fighter. A lot of people say your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. Your friend's favorite fighter is Peter Yan. One of the most skilled fighters we have ever seen in that cage. And it's just such a shitty way that he lost the belt to Aljamain Sterling when he was fucking butchering him. Like, I remember watching that live and just, he was kicking the absolute fucking shit out of them the whole fight, okay? Aljo definitely had moments, but Yan just was taking over in that fight. And it's kind of sad to see where Yan's kind of career went. You know, the Merab, you know, the O'Malley, the Aljos, the 3-fight loss streak that he had, but picked it up well. Picked it up well with a good Song Yadong win. Followed it through with a fucking nice Cheeto Vera win. And now we're here. Now we're here with Marcus McGee. I would love to have seen the Umar Nurmagomedov fight, and I'm quite surprised that we didn't, to be honest with you. I genuinely thought that could have been a main event on this card. If I'm being honest, I genuinely thought Umar versus Yan, Abu Dhabi, I thought it was written in the stars. Marcus McGee, what's he really done to deserve a Peter Yan fight? You know what I mean? This is a fucking prelim fighter if I've ever seen one. Not to discredit his skill set, because he's obviously got skill set. And he's obviously got skills if he's fighting Peter Yan. Like, he's no bum. But at what stage of his career does this fight make sense? Why is this fight even happening? Why? Why aren't we seeing even, like, an Umar? Why is not happening? An O'Malley rematch? Why are we seeing, like, anyone else in that division? Do you know what I mean? It makes no fucking sense, bro. Like, Cejudo would have been cool. Cejudo even, bro. What's... I don't get it. Fucking chuck Cheeto in there. He probably deserves it more than Marcus McGee at this point. Or fucking Song Yadong rematch at this point. Like, why is Marcus McGee fighting Peter Yan? He just hit me now. I made a whole video on it before, but fuck me. He's done absolutely nothing to deserve this fight, but I'm going to go with Peter Yan. I don't think he'd finish him. I think he'd go 30-27. Yan's not really a finisher, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I'll go Peter Yan 30-27 on that one. Next up, Sharon Magomedov versus Marc-Andre Barricha. Fuck. My old nemesis, Sharon Magomedov. I'm not going to sit here and say I exposed him, even though I kind of did, because I picked MVP to school him, and he did. But Sharon Magomedov's going to get this one done. Marc-Andre Barricha, like, he's a good fighter, and I've seen him fight a good bit, but Sharon Magomedov's they're not going to put him in there against lose 2 fights in a row, in my opinion, to be honest with you. I think he's going to have way too much range, he's going to be quite big in there as well. So yeah, I feel like he'll get this one done, man. I feel like he'll get this one done. I'm a bit pissed off that we haven't seen Movzar versus Aaron Pico on this card as well. I think that would have been a fucking sick card. If that had that would have been one of the best fight nights ever, bro. But that's still insane. But Bryce Mitchell is on the prelims, which I have a bit of an issue with. But Sharmagomedov's just going to be too much on the feet. He's going to have too much range. And I feel like the UFC just won't put him in there and lose twice in a row. It's a bit shit this guy can't fight in fucking, America. He can only fight in, like, Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, and places like that. Because he beat the shit out of someone in, like, a fucking shopping center. I seen the video of it, and I was like, that's crazy. But he's going to have way too much range on this one. Mark Barry's best option is to do the... see, the thing is, not even do the MVP on it. Because no one is going to beat MVP in a striking match. I truly believe that. I'm not saying MVP is the greatest striker in the UFC, but I think stylistically, like, he's up there. Like, you're just not going to beat MVP at a range game. He's going to beat you every single day of the week. And I picked MVP to school Sharmagomedov like he did. I called that fight to the fucking T. And Sharmagomedov was beaten at his own game, which is kind of shit because there is a lot of hype around this guy. But you don't pick a fight with MVP on a striking range. Jared Cannonier is going to find that out and he's going to stall up against the cage. But I'll go Sharmagomedov via second round TKO on that one. Not much really more to be said. But next up, we have Jose Ochoa versus Azu Almabavi. Not much really needs to be said about this fight. It's quite like not a boring fight, but there's not really much going on here. Flyweight scrap, to be fair, so they're going to bang. Flyweight is absolutely banging right now. I am going to go Azu on this one. I feel like he'll probably be a little bit too more sharp on the feet. I feel like Jose Ochoa not really been battle tested yet. Now, he is kind of an up-and-comer, but I value experience more than anything, bro. I value experience highly, so I feel like he's going to be able to get this one done. Yeah, these kind of fights no one really cares about. I don't really like spending too much time talking about them. Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan Guskov. Again, good fight. I like this fight. Krylov's, he's been in thereabouts. I saw him get, fucking knocked out by Dominic Reyes there. Like, not even that long ago, like half an hour ago I saw it. It was just on my fucking TikTok, but yeah, I feel like Krylov will get this one done. I feel like be able to pick him at range. I feel like Krylov will actually get him out there in the second round, from being honest. TKO. Bogdan, I've seen him kind of, he's just so fucking mid. Anytime I see him fight, he's just so mid, so basic. This could be an absolutely fucking shit fight as well. That's the thing. This could be an absolute snooze fest. So I'm going to go with Nikita Krylov via second round TKO on that one. This is the one I really want to talk about. Bryce Mitchell versus Saeed Nurmagomedov. A, this is a great scrap. B, why is this on the fucking prelims? And C, Bryce Mitchell has made a huge mistake moving out the bantamweight. We'll start with point A. Point A is this is actually a great scrap. I really like this fight. I don't like Bryce Mitchell moving down. I've said it from the start. I don't think Bryce Mitchell moving down is going to go well for him at all. I feel like he's going to lose to Saeed Nurmagomedov in a very bad way, and I feel like he'll get chinned. I don't really see the need to move down. Why are you moving down? Why aren't you putting on size? Why aren't you putting on muscle? You're clearly a 45er. You clearly have a good skill set. You clearly have good grappling. You have good kicks. Why are you wasting that moving down? These guys are going to be way quicker than you. And they're going to be way more complete. Bantamweights are more complete than featherweights. Fact. Corey Sandhagen, Merab, both complete. O'Malley, extremely complete. You know what I mean? Peter Yan, one of the most complete fighters we've ever seen. Song Yadong is kind of like a lesser complete version. They're just complete fighters at bantamweight. We saw Aljo, how good Aljo was. An extremely good scrambled and extremely good fight with Movzar in their scrap. Thought he could have won that, but that's for another day. Bryce is making a big mistake. Bryce is making a huge mistake. I really don't see the point in moving down. You should have just taken like 6 months off after that Gene Silva fight and put on some serious mass, and you would have been fine. There's no point moving down, in my opinion. It's going to be a terrible decision for Bryce. Saeed Nurmagomedov's going to have way too much on the feet for him. He's going to have way too much of the range game, and I feel like he's just going to get this one done. I really do. And I don't think Bryce Mitchell's going to be able to deal with the power at a new weight class that he's never fought in. And I feel like he's just going to be one step behind in this fight the whole time. I really do. I feel like Saeed Nurmagomedov's very quick, very sharp on the feet. He hasn't got great grappling. I actually picked, I think it was Vinicius Jr. or Vinicius Oliveira. I can't. Vinicius Jr. That's the fucking Real Madrid player. Vinicius Oliveira to actually beat him. That was a fucking great pick from. No, it was Jonathan Martinez. Sorry, I picked Jonathan Martinez to beat Saeed Nurmagomedov. That was one of my top picks. When everyone was picking Saeed Nurmagomedov, I was like, I'm picking Jonathan Martinez to beat him. Picks like that, I'm always like, oh, I love that. No one's ever going to believe me, but I actually, before the Tom Aspinall, I have 3 witnesses to this whole thing, and then they will die on a hill for me about this. Before Tom Aspinall fought Curtis Blades, it was just before the Paddy Pimblett fight. I just said I said it out loud. I said to the boys, I was like, I feel like there'll be an injury in the main event, and they all laughed, and Tom Aspinall got injured. It was the crazy shit, the craziest moment of my entire life, I'm being honest with you. But back to this fight. Bryce needs to get grappling early. Suck that fucking gas tank out of Saeed Nurmagomedov, because he has shown to gas. He's very good early on. You're going to have to be getting him down. He's got good kicks, Bryce, so use them at range. I look like a fucking rugby player. Saeed's he's extremely quick, and I just don't think Bryce Mitchell's going to be able to see the shots coming. He's moving down. He's going to look like a fucking twig in that cage. If he comes out there and says he looks way better, I just don't believe it. Saeed Nurmagomedov, first round TKO in my opinion. First 2 rounds, I just don't see it. Next up, we have Muslim. Sorry, let me get that back up. I'll move you back up a little bit. So we have Muslim Salikov versus Carlos Leal. I'm gonna be going Muslim on this one. I feel like he's probably got way too much grappling to be able to deal with Carlos, and I feel like he's kind of on this card to win. He might get a submission win in this one, second round, maybe submission win. He's kind of just like known as like, you know, that kind of Dagestani group, but he's always kind of one of those. Honestly, I feel like this guy's the Russian Gunnar Nelson, where they just put him on cards like this. My only one thinks that they only put him on cards like this. Never really fights anywhere else. Never really seems to want to fight anywhere else. So I'll go with him via second round submission on that one, to be honest with you. Not much really needs to be said. Now this one, I am actually low-key hyped for. Davy Grant versus Damien Blackspear. Blackspear. I don't know about this one. It's quite a close one. I like Davy Grant. That's the thing. I actually really like Davy Grant. But I don't know if he gets this one done. Davy Grant's a bit of an OG of the game. I've been watching Davy. I actually knew Davy Grant before I was a UFC fan. Not knew him personally or anything like that, but I just kind of knew who he was. A few of the boys when I was in school, a few of the lads in my year were just kind of like talking about UFC a bit, and Davy Grant, they were just like, he's a stud. But Damien Blackspear, I feel like he's probably going to get this one done via first round TKO. I feel like he's probably going to be a bit too slick, a bit too sharp, and I feel like Davy Grant's chin isn't exactly great. I feel like, you know, Damon's going to be able to get this one done. Too quick, man. Speed kills. Fucking speed kills. And I feel like speed is going to kill Davy Grant in this fight. It's sad to see, because I really like Davy Grant. Davy Grant's got good striking, though. You know what I mean? He's got decent grappling, but he's quite good on the feet. He's quite, you know, sharp. He's quite quick. But I feel like he's going to fall short in this fight. So I'll go with Damien Blackspear first round TKO. Next up, Amanda Rybas. I'm not going to say that, actually. Amanda Rybas versus Tabata Riki. Gonna go with Amanda Rybas on this one. I've been watching a Rybas from the very start of my UFC journey. So I do have a little bit of recency bias. She was on like one of the first cards that I ever watched. So she's kind of one of those fighters that I want to see win. A few of those kind of fighters I've seen early on, I'm always kind of like looking in their career, and I'm like, oh, I hope these guys win, just because they were kind of there from the start. That's why it was so sad to see Dustin Poirier walk away. But listen, man, what can you fucking do? They're all going to retire one day, aren't they? So listen, this is a WMA fight. I really don't need to say much about this one, nor do I want to say much about this one. But I feel like Amanda Rybas actually has a decent skill set, but it's going to be a fucking sloppy decision where they kind of just show really shit striking. Maybe a nice takedown, and one that might land some ground and pound, and they'll all get a, you know, cheer. So I'll go Amanda Rybas via decision on that one. Next up, we have Ibo Aslan versus Billy Elikana. I don't know. I'm leaning towards Billy Akala in this one. Good skill set, good striking, good guy. Ibo Aslan, though, how do I say it? Maybe he was put on this card to win. So maybe I might actually go with Ibo Aslan, if I'm being honest with you. So I actually will. I'll change my pick on that one. Some people are just made to win on these cards. Don't you know, you have that feeling? someone might have a look about them that you think, yeah, maybe you might win this fight. They just look like they're gonna win. They just look like they were, I'm going to go with Ibo. I'm going to shut the fuck up, first of all. I'm going to go with Ibo Aslan on this one via second round TKO. I feel like he'll just get this one done, like I've said. These are kind of fights I don't really like talking about. Like, the last 2 fights I really don't give a fuck about. Like, do you know what I mean? And I don't think many people in the whole sport give that much of a shit about these 2 fights. Muhammad Yaha versus, Stephen Ngannou, and Martin Dubé versus Marcus. I don't know who that guy is. I'm being completely honest with you. I have no idea who that is. I'm gonna go with Martin Bude because I know who he is, and that guy's unranked, so maybe he's a late fill-in, or maybe it's his UFC debut and he's actually really good. He's from Brazil. But Muhammad Yaha versus Stephen Ngannou. Go with Muhammad Yaha on that one via decision. I feel like he's got way too much heavy grappling, and he'll be able to get that one done. This whole card though is actually really good. Looking at it now, it definitely misses the whole Movzar versus Aaron Pico. I feel like that would have been icing on the cake. But I am expecting Robert Whittaker to go in there, show up and show out. I am expecting Peter Yan to go in there and show up and show out. I am expecting a very good performance from both of these guys. They're both, fan favorite fighters. Definitely in the book of Title Shot MMA. These guys are top tier level studs. So I'm expecting them to get this one done, man. I'm expecting them to get this one done. Good fight night card. Really looking forward to it. I'm excited. Like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.